Hi, my name is Bart. I am a marine biologist and a big fan of marine aquarium hobby. In a series of short videos, together with Tropical, we are going to introduce you to this beautiful and challenging hobby, the way that will bring you joy and satisfaction. One of the most important parts of home marine aquatics is to provide an optimal and sustainable salinity of water in marine aquarium. So today we'll be talking about composition of seawater, marine salts, and how to prepare the artificial seawater that we use in our hobby. We know from the school that 1 liter of seawater is heavier than 1 liter of fresh water by about 3.5% or 35 grams. These 35 grams difference are dissolved minerals that are responsible for the characteristic salty, bitter taste of the seawater. The dissolved minerals are extremely important for stony corals, which use many of these ions to build the skeletons. This is why we have to ensure adequate salinity by using properly balanced chemical additives. The main components of natural seawater, in addition to sodium and chlorides, are calcium, magnesium, bicarbonates, potassium, strontium, and bromides. In domestic conditions, artificial seawater can be obtained by dissolving the appropriate components in the pure water. However, instead of tedious and complicated process, we can use ready-made sea salt from Tropical. They have designed 2 types of salt that provide all necessary ingredients for marine aquaria. Tropical's offer includes 2 types of salt in 5, 10 and 20 kilograms buckets. Marine Power Reef-based salt is the first of them. It is suitable for all types of marine aquariums because its parameters at 33 ppt salinity are to reproduce the chemical composition of seawater on the natural reefs. It is especially suitable for the start of the marine tank because it supports its cycling, but it will also be perfect as a stable base in mature aquariums. More advanced aquarists whose aquarium require additional supplementation will value this salt as a stable base for dosing macro and micro elements according to the individual preferences. Marine Power Reef Plus is a salt that supports the growth of invertebrates. It contains a balanced but elevated concentration of some macro elements responsible for the process of building the skeletons of corals. It contains amino acids and vitamin C, which support the growth of living coral tissue and improve the coloration and general condition. The Marine Power Reef Plus salt is dedicated to cycled and matured reef tanks dominated by SPS and LPS corals. I strongly advise against using it in young systems because it will prolong the cycling process of the aquarium. Both salts were balanced so that the greatest efficiency in coral tanks is at the level of 33 to 35 ppt, but marine tanks with fish only can have lower salinity. On the bottom of each bucket you will find a batch number, so you can verify parameters of each batch online. And now I will show you how to prepare artificial seawater with the salt from Tropical. You will need container for mixing water with salt. It should be about twice as much as the amount of water changed. So if you replace 10 liters of water, then the container should have about 20 liters capacity. Thanks to this, you will not spill the water while stirring. I'm using another aquarium so you can see everything, but you can also use a clean bucket or a large PVC container. RO water at room temperature. Remember that the water must be filtered with reverse osmosis filter because in marine aquariums we don't use tap water. Scale for weighing the right amount of the salt. If you will be using the same container, after weighing for a couple of times, you can mark the level of salt on it. So in future, it will be easier for you to scoop the right amount of the salt. I use a laboratory scale, but you can use a kitchen scale with accuracy to 1 gram. Something to scoop the salt from the bucket. I use a little plastic shovel. A circulation pump to stir the water. Alternatively, you can use plastic stick to stir the water manually, but it can take from 10 to 15 minutes before the salt will completely dissolve. A device for measuring the value of the salinity. I use an electronic refractometer, but a traditional salimeter will be also fine. So let's get started. The manufacturer recommends 10% weekly water changes. but for this example I have prepared 10 liters of pure water. It should be at room temperature, preferably up to 25 degrees. To make 10 liters of the artificial seawater with 33 ppt salinity, we need to dissolve approximately 390 grams of the tropical sea salt. So I need to weigh that amount of the salt using the scale. It doesn't have to be exactly 390 grams, because later we will double check the salinity. Once I have it ready, I switch the pump on so the water will be moving, and then I gently pour the salt into the container. It will take several minutes until the salt is fully dissolved in the water. At the beginning the water will be milky, but during mixing the haze should disappear. If the salinity is less than 33 ppt, I will add extra salt, and if more, I will add extra water. The whole process should take no longer than 30 minutes, and once the water is clear, with no residue at the bottom of the container, it is ready for water change. And this should be completed within the next 24 hours. This is it for today. I hope you have learned how to prepare the artificial seawater for your marine aquarium. And I encourage you to subscribe so you will never miss any episodes. Happy reefing!